The February 2nd meeting of the Eden Prairie City Council will now come to order. I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Prior to the start of each council meeting, we have an open podium period of time during which Eden Prairie residents can address the City Council on issues related to city government. These meetings are generally held the first and third Tuesdays of each month, and the open podium period of time is from 6:30 to 6:55 here in the council chambers. If you wish to speak during open podium, please contact the city manager's office at 949-8412 by noon of the meeting date with your name, your phone number, and the subject matter you wish to discuss. If time permits, after scheduled speakers are finished, I'll open the floor to unscheduled speakers. This portion of the meeting is not recorded, nor is it televised. Again, if you have any questions, please contact the city manager's office at 949-8412. The first thing we have on tonight's agenda is a donation from Cub Scout Pack 479. Mr. Getchell.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. We have with us tonight representatives of Cub Scout Pack 479 to provide a donation to the city, specifically our police and fire department. So they are here tonight to present the donation.
Madam Mayor, City Council members from the City of Eden Prairie. My name is Chris Lutzel, and I'm the Cub Master of Pack 479. And with me today, I've got Matt Brayton, my committee chair rep, and three boys, Gustavo, Logan, and Noah. And we represent a much larger pack of 83 boys. And we're sponsored by the AM Rotary Club in Eden Prairie, and we represent grades K through 5, and we represent almost all of the elementary schools in Eden Prairie. And one of the things that we do is we also fundraise, as well as have our own families participate. We also fundraise by selling popcorn and Christmas wreaths. And one of our also thing that we've done with the Northern Star Council is we were able to raise some money for our hometown heroes. And with that money, we were able to take it and purchase a bunch of our Cub Scout popcorn for our hometown heroes. And none of the, according to the boys, we talked to a few, and they said, well, let's give them to the police officers and to the firemen of the Eden Prairie as our way of giving back and saying thank you for all that they do for us. So it is with that Pack 479 gives our donation of popcorn to these two fine gentlemen representing their organizations as a thank you. So,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I see it's not just one bag of popcorn, there are boxes of it out there in the hall.
Yes.
So
yes.
Thank you.
To make it easier on me having to carry it all in here, I just brought one as a demo. Everything else is out in the hallway. But yes, it'll be enough for all of the officers.
So can you boys attest to the fact that it's good popcorn?
Does it taste good, guys?
Yes.
That's a good salesman for you. Well, thank you very much.
Terrific.
And these
Thank you
guys
very much.
appreciate it too. Thank you very much. I appreciate the
Thank you.
donation. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Thanks, guys.
We also have a couple of other donations tonight. The first one from the Lioness Club and the second from Lions Tap. Mr. Lotthammer.
Yes, Your Honor. The first one, $500 from the Eden Prairie Lioness Club, and it's for preschool appropriate chairs and tables at the outdoor center. So we'll be purchasing those with the acceptance of the gift. So we appreciate that, and they've been contributing in other ways to the city over the past month, actually.
Yes, they have. Their name has come up before. Do we have a motion for that?
I would move to adopt the resolution accepting the donation in the amount of $500 from the Eden Prairie Lioness Club for the purchase of preschool chairs and table for the Starring Lake Outdoor Center.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. Mr. Lockhammer.
Yes, the next one is $1,300 from the Lion's Tap Restaurant. It feels like we have these annual gifts that keep coming back year in and year out, and we appreciate that from them. They actually, we divided out and recognized them at 13 different events that we hold throughout the spring, summer, and fall. So we're able to use those dollars to enhance each one of those events. So we appreciate their contributions.
Great, thank you. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to adopt the resolution accepting the donation in the amount of $1,300 from Lions Tap to be used towards 2016 special events.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The motion passes. So again, thank you to Lions Tap, the Lioness Club, and Cub Scout Pack 479 for the donations that the city received tonight. These are all things that make the city a better place for all of us. Thank you. Is there a motion for approval of the agenda and other items of business?
Move approval.
Second.
Anything to add or pull out? Okay. All in favor? Aye. The motion passes. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes from the council workshop held Tuesday, January 19th, 2016?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. Any corrections to those? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes from the city council meeting held that same evening?
Approval.
Second.
Anything to correct there? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consent calendar, we have items A through I. Is there anything to pull for discussion? Any questions on anything there? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us to our one and only public hearing tonight, which is the MOSS storage building. Mr. Getchell.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a request by the city to construct a single-story, 9,600 square feet cold storage building for storage of off-season city equipment. The second phase would include a 1,400 square foot heated addition, so the total building would be approximately 11,000 square feet. And this is located at 9811 Flying Cloud Drive. We have an existing storage facility there currently. The action tonight is a resolution for a site plan review because this particular project meets or exceeds all the performance standards that are in the I-1 industrial zoning district. And the landscaping plan also meets the city's ordinances as well. You can see in the plan that's in your packet that there is proposed screening with this project to the east and the southwest. There is no tree loss expected with the project, and the site itself does not have any outdoor storage, nor is there any parking that would be needed to be screened. I do want to mention the Plan Commission did recommend approval of the project unanimously at their January 11th meeting, and at that meeting they approved a building that was closer to 13,000 square feet. But as we get closer to plans and specifications and bidding out this project, which is in our city's capital improvement plan, it's been scaled back slightly to the 11,008 square foot proposal. So with us tonight we have our architect, Dan O'Brien, and also city staff as well to provide a presentation, and then the staff and our architect can answer any questions that you may have. But if we could start with a presentation first before the public hearing, we can provide you with a little bit more detail.
Great, thank you. And I appreciate you pointing out that we expect our city buildings to meet the same codes that we require of commercial and retail buildings. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well, good evening. For those of you who may not remember me, I'm Paul Schluter. I'm the Fleet Services Manager here for the city. Joining me this evening is Dan O'Brien with DSO Architecture. Dan is the architect that we've retained to actually do the design and project construction administration for us on the project. So with that, I guess I'll turn it over to Dan for the actual presentation.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Dan O'Brien, and I have before you, these are a PowerPoint presentation that kind of summarizes the project. It's a very brief presentation. I'll kind of go through it pretty quickly if I can. The site was purchased in 2002 from BFI. It's the former drive-in theater site. 2005, a master plan was proposed, and a salt and sand storage was proposed and approved and constructed at that time. And on that master plan, there was a building identified as a future cold or unheated storage, off-season storage building. And the plan that we're proposing meets that same master plan. The building is in the same location. And the building has been placed to take advantage of existing paving. There's existing paving on the site currently, and we have to add a small portion of paving to the north side of the building. We're also taking advantage of existing catch basins and using those to drain the site. The existing site, when the salt and sand storage was constructed, there was a stormwater pollution prevention plan prepared, and the existing holding pond is more than adequate to accommodate the new construction that we're proposing. The building, as Rick mentioned, is 9,600 square feet. We had, in the base building, we had originally conceived of a larger building. We met with the user of the building, the Parks Department, Utilities, and Streets, and they identified a list of items that needed to be stored in the building. And from that list, we developed a project that was, a building was larger. It was larger than we had originally conceived. And when we priced it out, we discovered that indeed it was over budget, and we wanted to bring the building back into the proposed budget with the CIP, and so we scaled it back slightly. And we're also going to be building it in potentially two phases. We're going to bid it as a base building, which is just a rectangular building, very simple building. It's unheated, concrete slab. There's no plumbing. There's no facilities. It's unoccupied. It's used for off-season storage. So at the end of the fall, all the summer equipment gets moved, or the winter equipment gets moved out, and the summer equipment gets moved in. And the winter storage is probably more intense than the summertime storage is. And then in the spring, the opposite happens. As part of the building programming process, the staff expressed the desire to have a small heated portion of the building to contain the equipment that's used in conjunction with the salt and sand storage, a front end loader and a backhoe. And the idea is that this room would be heated to above freezing 40 degrees, 45 degrees, and this would facilitate starting the equipment and operating the hydraulics of that equipment. It would improve the process substantially. But this was kind of beyond the original scope of our concept of the plan, and so we're going to bid that as an additive alternate. The building's been designed so that this can be added in the future if the prices come in with the alternate too high or above the budget. So it could be built immediately if the prices are right, or it could be added in the future. Additionally, there are identified by the street department 4 storage bins they wanted for sand, gravel, cold mix, and rock. And so those bins are on the exterior of the building. They're concealed from view by the balance of the building, and they're covered so they're protected, so it keeps the material more viable during the winter is the concept. So the building is, as Rick mentioned, is constructed of materials that are consistent with Eden Prairie's zoning ordinance. It's an exposed aggregate, natural native limestone precast panel with 3 troweled reveals. There's a few elements of interest that have been added. There's a circular window on the north elevation, and there's the band forms a general arch over the overhead door on the west elevation. This slide shows both the elevation of the basic building and the elevation when the cold storage would be added to the building on the lower elevation. Likewise, this is the building, the basic building, and it is very basic when it's a simple box in its base plan. With the addition of the cold storage and the bulk storage, the elevation on the south represents that element. Again, all elevations meet the requirements of the city ordinance in terms of quantity of higher quality materials and the types of materials being used. This is the east elevation and the lower drawing shows the expansion again to the south of the building. And this is an artist rendering that was actually done of the original design, so there's an extra door on the south face, and the building is 24 feet longer in this presentation. And again, to meet the city's ordinances, we added more glass into the overhead doors to meet the requirement for glazing and better materials. This is a sample picture of the panel. It's, again, a precast concrete panel with exposed aggregate and trowel reveals. The two reveals shown on this drawing are kind of it's a mama bear and a baby bear. And we're the papa bear and the baby bear. We're proposing a mama bear, a slightly smaller reveal. So, sorry for the. I watch my grandkids one day a week, so I know where my mind really is. So that's the end of our presentation. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any questions? Okay. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the audience that wants to address the council on this storage facility? Okay. Is there a motion?
Seeing none, I would move to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution for site plan approval on 13.45 acres.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. Payment of claims. Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Tara Lukens.
Aye.
Councilmember Aho.
Aye.
Councilmember Butcher Wickstrom.
Aye.
Thank you. Any other business to bring before the city tonight? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.